MLB The Show 24 is turning into that one family member that can't complete a sentence without slurring their words. You know, they can't walk in a straight line without stumbling, and yet refuse to admit they have a problem. You know, no matter how much feedback is received in their own comments, they still do the exact same thing over and over again and somehow expect people to be on board. So I figure it's time that we have an intervention. Not that I expect them to listen, but here is how I would fix MLB The Show 24. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think about the game so far, about 2 months into the game cycle. Let me know things that you are enjoying, things that they've done well, and also things that you think could definitely be improved. Leave a like if you guys do enjoy my video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and let's get into it. So first and foremost, I think we have to present the issue that I'm saying needs to be fixed. Now, gameplay for MLB 24 has mostly been fine. Yes, there are a couple issues, namely the umpires are not calling enough strikes. If the ball's in the strike zone at all, it should be called a strike per Major League Baseball rules. Infielders are diving across the diamond like Superman, making every single play. Once again, for like the 5th straight year, there's tons of freeze-offs that make playing the game really frustrating. And there are more, but those are specifically things that they could change now. The problem is when you're running on the same game engine for the past 8 years like MLB The Show has been, the game's going to feel pretty much the same. So they're not going to patch in a new game engine. We just got to cross our fingers and pray that that happens for MLB 25. But the main issue when it comes down to MLB The Show 24 with its Diamond Dynasty mode, we'll talk about franchise, road to the show, the offline stuff in another video. Diamond Dynasty's problem rests in its content. Of course, MLB The Show has not done a whole lot to dissuade people from spamming MLB The Pack 24 in all of their comment section, because I think that's a perfect representation of what the game has become. Which update after update, week after week, you can really see that in the game, such as this most recent content update last Friday. You could expect that most of the content released, most of the new cards, are going to be in packs, such as this 99 Chris Bryant, which is an extremely sought-after card year in, year out. And it's locked behind a 40,000 stub pack, which is about the equivalent of $40. And he's only one of the 4 99s that are in this pack, a couple more 98s. Then you've got another headliner, which they're releasing 2 of these a week. We used to get 2 content updates a week. Now it's a pack update on Tuesday. Then Friday, we get another pack update with a small little program that's tied in there, kind of thrown in as an afterthought. You've got another new Chase pack, a new Chase card, Adley Rutschman, even though we just got this Chase Paul Skeens the week prior. And then you've got your Seasons Awards pack, which comes in every single week, and more often than not, it's going to feature more exciting and better cards than what you would get in the program. Because when you look at what else this game has to offer, it isn't much. I mean, there has been 1, 2, 3, 4 programs other than the weekly program in 2 months. And I'll give credit where credit is due. They have improved the layout of the Seasons Awards program. They've started to put better cards, bigger names that people actually care about, and also good cards as well, such as this Gunnar Henderson. And they've also included a pack, which is always appreciated. It is a previous pack, of course. It is 1 week behind. And of course, every 4 weeks, if you've completed all the Seasons Awards programs up until that point, you get the Lightning card, which most recently was this 99 Mookie Betts. A damn good card, even though he's probably only as good as the guy in packs. Play 8 weeks of programs to get a card as good as one card that you can buy on the market. And if you're unfamiliar with the show, you'd think, well, what's the big deal? Pack content should be better. If you came from Madden or 2K, yes, but the issue is that's not what MLB The Show has been, as it's made a name for itself. It's no secret that baseball is not as big of a sport as basketball and football. Shocking, I know. But that's how it is. And a lot of people who play this game are probably more basketball or football fans, but they got sucked into the idea of you can play and get some of the best cards, some of the most exciting cards in the game. And that's just not the case this year. Not to say you can't get a good team. Of course, if you look at Team Affinity, there is a lot of really good cards that you get for playing the game. You know, this Brian Roberts is one of my favorites thus far. He's really good. Are some of the pack cards maybe a little bit better? Sure, but you can absolutely find yourself a fantastic team by completing Team Affinity. However, that presents itself with an issue. Everybody uses the same cards. Everybody's got the same team, and it just feels pretty boring to play a game that hasn't had a new online game mode in about 8 years. That is, unless you buy cards from the market, which is its own challenge because in this new expedited power creep that they've introduced in MLB The Show 24, it's kind of meaningless to go and buy a card that would be 96, 97 overall on the pack market when the next week they're going to put out 99s. It just makes it a bit, or a lot, redundant. But of course, that's just hinting at the biggest issue, which we haven't even ran into. We've had issues. We've had complaints with this game. And yet, I think it's only going to get that much worse in about 2.5 weeks because Diamond Dynasty seasons are going to come into full swing, which if you're unfamiliar, come June 7th, the beginning of Season 2, every card that is not a core card you can no longer use in about every aspect of the game. So ranked seasons, can't use those cards. Most Conquest maps, can't use those cards. Most mini seasons, can't use those cards. They're outdated, they're out of season, and you can't use them outside of one wild card, which you get at the beginning of the season, and you can earn up to 3 additional wild cards, to a total of 4. You unlock those in the XP reward path, which means it's crunch time. You know, if you want to grind out for these cards, whether it be in ranked seasons, in Battle Royale, on the XP reward path, any of which, it makes it difficult to really grind for these cards when you know at max you can use 4 at a time, but realistically it's going to be a while until that's even the case. Most of these cards you'll never touch again, and that is not good at all. The concept of having multiple game cycles within a singular game cycle is alluring, at least to me. I think that's an interesting idea because I think a lot of people find the beginning of MLB The Show to be the most fun because you're actually building a better team. You know, you're getting 85 overalls, then you're slowly but surely getting up to 90s, and, you know, by the end of the summer, you've got 99 overall team. Or at least that's how it was back in MLB The Show 22 and prior. But I just don't think that concept works for 95% of the people that play this game because for a lot of the people that I've talked to that kind of play this game more casually, or they play this game in addition to many other games, is they see it as they're grinding something like Team Affinity to get good cards, of course, which is going to make their team kind of at the meta at the moment, give them a fighting chance for any online game. But once they actually complete that Team Affinity, get the cards, then the next chapter is rolling around, and they got to do the grind all over again. Yeah, essentially a never-ending grind to actually get your team to a point where you're excited about playing, or you feel like you've got a fair shot for playing ranked seasons. And then, come Season 2, all of that is essentially taken away from you. What the fuck? And I am extremely concerned come Season 2, because I think a lot of people are going to not accept that. They are not going to want to start from the ground up in June, having to get all new cards to build out a team. Of course, you do have a collection of core cards. You do get your 1 wild card, up to 4 eventually. But it's just a killer for a lot of people, especially when you look at disruptors. I hate when people say, oh, NCAA is going to kill MLB The Show. Or Madden's going to kill MLB The Show. Because as a game developer, you should never look at it that way, that one game is going to kill you. Because every game will. There's so many games fighting for attention that you shouldn't single in on one arbitrary date of a game releasing. You are always needing to put that foot on the pedal, keeping up player interest to actually want to play your game. But I do think come NCAA, which I get it, sports game, there's no doubt a large overlap, a large carryover of player base. That releases a month into season 2. And that's going to take time away from people. Summer activities take time away from people. Everything takes time away from people. And they won't accept that because they're going to earn even less progress, even less cards, that they're just going to say, screw it. And they're not going to play anymore because they don't want to have everything they've done be essentially meaningless. And this poll that Daddy Dimmu, a creator a lot of you guys are very familiar with, he put this out on Twitter. It was not eye-opening to me, but I think it was for a lot of people, that 85% of people have not gotten to one of the collection cards, that being George Brett, Satchel Paige, or Willie Mays. You get your first card at 280 season cards collected, and 85% of people on Twitter haven't gotten to one. And I'll tell you, that number is a lot higher than 85% because most of the casual players aren't the ones that are going to be adding discourse onto MLB The Show Twitter. Let me know in the comments section, have you gotten one of these bosses yet? You look at mine, I'm 250 out of 280. I make videos, I stream this game, and I can't keep up. Yet I've completed every program that has been released, and Team Affinity, I've done every prior program, and I've gotten about half of it done so far. And I am a good 30 cards off, and we are 17 days, I believe, out from the end of the season. So maybe I get my first card with a week to spare, and then I've got to wild card it or just forget about it. All that time for what? So how do we go about fixing this and turning the ship around to becoming a functional, fun, enjoyable game for an average person? Well, first things first, you look at the XP reward path. See, a big issue with MLB The Show 24 is all the content is put out in an overload. You've got your weekly stuff, which, as we've said, is mostly pack content. And then once a month, you'll have your new Team Affinity, Ranked, Battle Royale. There'll oftentimes be another program, a Conquest map, a Seasons Awards. All this stuff comes out at once, and then people hit the daily XP cap. 15,000 XP is the most you can earn in a day when you need to get up to 1 million to get these cards. So that daily XP cap has to be amended. I understand why you'd want to somewhat hold people back a little bit to make it more fair online. I don't think it's necessary. If you want to put in the time to play, you should be rewarded for it. But if you are hell-bent on a cap, make it a weekly cap. 15,000 a day across 7 days is 85,000. That's, call it 100K that you can earn in a week. And that will make it so much better because everybody's got different schedules. Don't punish people for having a calendar that only allows them to play one day. Let them play your fucking game and be rewarded for it. And with that, there just has to be more to actually do. There needs to be more programs or more conquest, something for people to actually play in the game. Because right now, it's just replaying the same thing ad nauseum. A lot of people are bending the CPU over backwards to grind XP in many seasons. So why don't you do more stuff like this? This Conquest map, which has hidden packs in it, you get a free card, or more programs as well, like the Show Classics for Bellinger. A good card and a pack. A chance to actually get some of the cards you release. What an insane concept. The funny thing is, we were elated. We were so happy even though this pack was like 3 weeks old, a lot of us gave props to SDS for doing this, and then they just decided not to do it again. Like, I'm fine with SDS putting out packs in the game. You know, we need more legends in this game. Look at Madden, look at 2K, compared to MLB The Show. There are so many players that we don't have. And if selling a couple packs could earn them enough funding to get likeness rights to more players, I'm for it. But it can't come at the expense of the actual people that play your game. Because the regular people are not spending money in addition to the $70 that they bought your game for. They just aren't. And you have to accept that. But the people that will spend certainly won't spend if you're not going to make the game enjoyable. Think of it like this. Would you give a good tip to a restaurant that took 30 minutes to take your order, it took an hour after you ordered to get your food, it was cold when you got it, and then they took another 30 minutes to bring you your check? Would you give them a good tip? No. So if you don't give players a good experience, why the fuck would they give you more money? So give players a chance to actually get those packs so they can, for one, pull some of those cards themselves, or two, have an option to buy them on the market for a fair price, not spending $80K, $60K on a card that is weeks, months old. The biggest thing that SDS is going to have to figure out is the switch over to the new season, because that is going to turn off a lot of people. Ideally, you'd have new game modes that are not season restricted. You wouldn't have to worry about out-of-season cards not being able to use them, because these modes, where you can earn fun rewards and have an enjoyable time, you can still use them. But that's not going to happen. So let's take events, a game mode that desperately needs some help. I mean, it's been in MLB The Show since, I think, 2018, and yet we've never really gotten anywhere with this. The rewards are just okay. There's great XP here, but this could be your mode, which has no season restrictions. And honestly, I don't think it ever should, although in MLB 23, it did. Events' lifeblood should be built around being fun. Different ways to play the game. Like this, right-handed pitchers, left-handed, or switch-hitting batters. That's a fun twist. It's definitely going to lend itself to a high offensive atmosphere. Although I would go a step further in changing the rules. Something I want to see, only pitchers hit and hitters pitch. Let's get wild. Let's have a little bit of fun in this game, because that is what it's lacking. I want to see an event where you start in the top of the 9th inning, it's tied 0-0, and both of you get to hit with the bases loaded, nobody out. Just change up the game to make it more enjoyable, give us different rule set, and it would be a ton of fun. And again, no season restrictions, so any and every card you've earned all year, you can use in events. They also talk here on this week, Moonshot event is coming into the game. Here's an idea. Make Moonshot a permanent event with no season restrictions. That would be a perfect place for people to actually play the game and complete missions, which should be the goal. If you want people to get the cards that you put out in the XP reward path and season collections, then give them an opportunity. No restrictions, so they can always use the cards they want and also have fun doing it. Yesterday, the show Twitter account announced that there were 5 free millionaire packs in the store. You're never going to pull anything. You're just going to get this voucher for 100 stubs. You know how to make millionaire packs exciting? Make it a random scale where you could earn anywhere from 100 to 1 million. So you could maybe pull 5,000 stubs. Maybe you get 20,000. Maybe you get 1 million if you get lucky enough. But something more than just, oh, here's 100 stubs. I guess I'll go fuck myself. Offline players get zero love. There needs to be more stuff for them to do. Put in new conquest maps where maybe it's like an all-star difficulty minimum or something. Just up the challenge a little bit. I'm not talking the extreme program. I'm talking things that they can play to earn good rewards and not feel left out. Because, again, you got to remember that playing this game is $70. It's $60 a year to play online. Because that's where we are. And, well, it's been that way for about a decade. PS3 didn't have to pay to play online. But here you do. So give them stuff to earn without having to play online. That is how you cater to players, and that is how you could maybe extract a couple dollars from their wallet. By giving them stuff they want. These captains, all of the team captains, give them all out for free. They're 87 overall cards. They're not that good, but they're stepping stones for theme teams. If you want people to care about lower overall content and kind of bridge the gap of this expedited power creep, give them cards so they can boost those cards. It's not that insane of a concept. I also think there needs to be reform into ranked seasons. I get what they're doing with having people that make World Series get rewarded first by not allowing people to get up to here, the actual World Series card, until 2 weeks in of the month-long program. But it completely de-incentivizes people from playing ranked because it is so much quicker progress once the new missions are put out. I mean, you've got 4 missions and these inning missions right here. You know what you could do and really help out people? Have these carry over. Stat missions, when you put in more, allow that progress to be kept, although you can't unlock these until 2 weeks. So there would be a lot of people getting these 2 weeks in, so maybe they could use the cards while they're still good. And people would actually want to play. Because unless you're right up to World Series, I might as well wait. Because I know I'm not earning as much progress now as I would be in 3 days when they put out more missions. And that, truth be told, is the biggest issue with this game. There's not a lot of reasons to log on and play. Because there's one content update a week, and for the most part, it's not that big. You know, this last week, there's one thing that you can go and do new in the game, and that is this program. There's good cards. Of course, we happen to find a week where there's a new lightning card for completing this, but let it be next week or something. And there's just one card that's probably usable and some theme team cards that you probably don't have the captain to boost up anyway. Let's bring back something like daily reward missions, like MLB The Show 21. They had programs set forth there where you could earn a pretty good diamond card at the end of things. You would earn packs all the time, and it was a reason for people to log on every day. Yes, it might only be one moment, but then they see something else in the game. There's a new supercharge that they want to use. There's so many things that you could do to just get people to play your game, and yet you push it to one update a week, and they see all the best cards are in packs. There's almost nothing for them to do actually in the game. So they stop playing, they go do something else because they realize they're so far off of any meaningful cards, they're not going to bother, or that a new season comes in 2 weeks. Why grind now? Because all those cards are going to be unusable in 17 days' time. That's your issue. That's what you have to fix. And if you don't do it, nobody's going to play. Everyone's going to leave to NCAA, to Madden, to Frou-Frou Park. They're going to do anything but play MLB The Show. They'll actually go outside instead of playing this game. So that's how I would change it. That's how I would make this game more approachable. It's not the best case scenario, but that's what you can do right now, working with what you've set up for MLB The Show 24. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would this be a little bit better? Would this help make the game more enjoyable and make you want to play more? I think it would for me. I would be interested to hear what you guys think and ideas you have that could help make MLB The Show a better game. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching.